Hello everyone. Sorry about the technical difficulties there for a moment, but I hope you can hear me. Thank you for watching. If you're tuning in, welcome to Youth Formation Fridays here at Christ the Redeemer, a short mini-series where I'll be talking about living life liturgically in the home. So, this is really just a short series for y'all to serve y'all as a way during COVID to better get to know me and to also learn and be inspired by new ways where we can bring the church into our homes, as not all of us can gather fully as a community right now. So last week, if y'all were here, that was part 1 of the series. Tonight is part 2, and then we will have part 3 next Friday, where we will be taking a short break leading into Lent. Our parish has some great content coming your way during the season of Lent with Father Alex, so wanting to utilize that and give y'all the ability to fully dive into what we have in store. We will be taking a short break from living life liturgically on Fridays and then jumping back into them after Lent during the season of Easter with once a month videos to inspire y'all again on how you can live life liturgically in the home throughout that month, with whatever feast days are coming up or holidays. So yes, last week we talked about living life liturgically, specifically within the 3 pillars of Lent, with the Lent season coming up. Those 3 pillars are prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So it's always a smoother adjustment to incorporate holy habits and new habits in general into our lifestyle when we add them into something that we're already doing, rather than trying to tackle a whole bunch of new things at once, which I don't know about y'all, but for me can tend to be overwhelming if I try to completely reorder my schedule or my routine. So today we will be talking about dates, that is on the liturgical calendar. Not dates that you go on, but specifically celebrating baptismal anniversaries and observing Fridays and Sundays. So we do have a couple of more weeks before Lent, and so this is my encouragement for y'all to just start thinking through and praying through what it is that you as a family, not just as an individual, want to do collectively to better enter into prayerfully the season of Lent coming up. So without further ado, let's talk about baptisms. Baptisms are very special anniversaries, and they should be something that is celebrated more than just on the day that somebody is baptized and enters into the church. It is special because that is a sacrament where you are being adopted into the family of God. And something that I really love that Pope Benedict XVI says about baptism is, and I want to read it in a moment, but emphasizing the call of mission by virtue of our baptism. So Pope Benedict XVI, what he says is the rediscovery of the value of one's baptism is the basis of the missionary commitment of every Christian. Because we see in the gospel that he who lets himself be fascinated by Christ cannot do without witnessing the joy of following in his footsteps. We understand even more that in the virtue of baptism, we have an inherent missionary vocation. In the virtue of baptism, we have an inherent missionary vocation. our first missionary vocation starts outside of the church. It starts in the home. And that is something that we can learn how to live out and learn how to practice by living within the liturgy, to live it joyfully and together as a home, as a family. By something that you can begin by celebrating your baptism anniversary or those in your home is obviously first and foremost finding out what your baptism date is. You can go look through your documents at home if you have a special folder or box for those. If you aren't sure, then you could call your parish. Every parish has a record of their sacraments, so that is another easy way or quick way that you'll be able to find out your baptismal anniversary, so that you can celebrate it every year as a family, and as an individual as well. Celebrate each anniversary with a special meal or dessert. Meals are a time for us to sit down, to gather, to celebrate, to share life together. So whoever's baptismal anniversary it is, have them pick what's their favorite meal or favorite restaurant, place that they love to get takeout from. If there's a certain type of dessert that your family makes on special occasions, what is it that you could do on that anniversary to make it that much more special? Another thing that you could do is, as a family, if you could use your own baptismal candle if you still have that, or you could just use a candle, light it, and as a family restate your baptismal vows. Something that as a church we typically do if you're at a mass where a baptism is being held, but you can restate your baptismal vows at any point. And what better time to do that than as you're celebrating the time where yourself or somebody in your home was adopted into the kingdom of God. You could finish restating those vows with a prayer or blessing yourselves with holy water if you have that in your house and that's accessible. Fathers, husbands, you can bless your wives, your family as the head of household. Mothers, you can bless your children because you are a shepherd over them as well. But that is something that you can do during your baptismal celebration at home. Alternative ideas if cooking isn't feasible for you, or if you just want new creative inspiration on how to celebrate your baptismal anniversary, is for you to visit our adoration chapel or a adoration chapel near you, or to also attend a daily mass to receive Jesus in the most holy sacrament. Add those dates once you find them out onto your calendar. Set a reminder, even if you're like me and life gets hectic and a year comes and goes and you realize a week later that you missed your baptismal anniversary. Mine is in July, and it's actually 2 days before my wedding anniversary, so it's easy for me sometimes to forget it. I know it was last year and the year before, but add them to your calendar. That way that you have that special time together and you don't miss the celebration. Another day to celebrate are name days, otherwise known as feast days as well. Choose a patron saint for your family if you don't already have one, or multiple if your family feels called to different types of saints depending on your interests, or different prayers that you're asking for the intercession of. Or you can also have individual people in your family choose a saint that they are partial to. And the term name days typically comes from, traditionally people would actually pick the saint that they are named after for their name days, whether it's their birth name or their confirmation name, whatever it might be. But that again is a time where you as a family can dive into the life of a saint, get to know them, figure out what their mission was, and to have a conversation, to learn together, to grow together in your faith through learning who these different saints were and what their role was in our Catholic Church. Again, set reminders, add these days to your calendar, do something special. What we like to do in our home is you've heard me talk about food, we love our food in my house, and something that we like to do is indulge in foods that we typically try to shy away from if it's not a special anniversary or feast day. So some of our favorites are going out and getting Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, or Snowballs, depending on what our mood is. My personal favorite is sugar cereals, so I like to get a big box of Fruit Loops or Reese's cereal and just having that on hand in the cupboard, and that way it's something to put a little bit of pep in your step and start your day off excited to celebrate and to honor the saint that you became friends with and you started praying to for the intercession of and grew close to in that way, and are grateful for their prayers for your family as well. Flowers are also a classic way. I don't know if there are any husbands or fathers watching. I love it when I receive flowers on a special feast day, or if you're partial to plants, that's another idea as well, for your wife, for your children. And it's also just something special that lasts past the feast day, and it's a happy surprise, it's a happy gift that you can look to as you walk past them for the following days after celebrating that anniversary or that name day, that feast day. Okay, so now that we've talked about baptismal anniversaries and name days, I wanted to touch on observing Fridays and Sundays, especially since we are about to enter into Lent. And Fridays are something that, as we all know, we observe more so during the season of Lent. So every Friday, even outside of the liturgical season of Lent, is considered a mini Good Friday. When it's possible, consider abstaining from meats. We try our best to, and sometimes it's just not possible in our home. If we have leftovers that are going bad, or we're eating a meal with a friend that's hosting us and they're giving us meat, we ultimately just decide to take on a different sacrifice. So consider giving up meat on Fridays outside of Lent as well. And if that's not possible, then to make another sacrifice that day. Some ideas that I know friends have done in the past that I've tried myself is maybe giving up coffee that day, or sweets on that Friday, taking a cold shower, whatever it might be. Just a way to enter into Good Friday and what the Lord went through for us on Good Friday. Sundays are considered a mini Easter, a time to celebrate every Sunday, and that is the feast day of all feast days is Easter. So what are ways that you and your family celebrate Easter? I would love to know in the comments to get some ideas for anybody else who's watching, or what y'all do on Fridays, if that is a special day that you already celebrate, or that you know of friends who celebrate and you like some of the things that they do. I mentioned last week that our house, we celebrate Sundays with a big brunch. So we usually don't go all out on both days of the weekend. Saturdays and Sundays, we typically reserve that just for Sunday morning. And our recent favorite is, we actually found a really good pancake recipe that we have been loving. And if we have family in town, my father-in-law has been making homemade kolaches, which is just absolutely delicious. We'll have that with eggs, all the fixins, morning cocktails, or just what have you, and just go all out. It is a mini Easter on Sunday, so to feast together as a family. Another idea, so outside of food, a way that you can celebrate Sundays, or as well alternative feast days, are through an outdoor hike or activity, if that's something that your family enjoys, to do some sort of outing together, such as, yes, a hike, trip to a museum, and spending that time together, maybe doing something that's related to a saint. So a hike comes to mind because I know JP too. He was a huge outdoorsman. He loved to hike, fish, just be out in the open air. So that is an idea if that is a special feast day that you like to celebrate. Or while you're looking into the lives of different saints, then you can also pick an activity as a family that would suit that saint, or just do something that you all enjoy doing together. Talk about that saint or the outing, the event that you had that day over dinner. It's a time for us again to come together to reflect on the day, reflect on how we celebrated the day, what we like about that certain saint that you chose to pray for the intercession of, as a family, and just come together as a mini church within your home. And if you have children and a book about saints or that particular saint, you could read the story together over bedtime. I know that there are plenty of resources on Formed, where they have lots of different videos or movies, series, where you can watch the different lives of the saints. If that's something that you're interested in, you could do together as a family, or even if you're curious as to which saints to pick, you can go and find out more information on those saints. So I would like to take this time to engage with y'all. If you have any questions in the comments, or any ideas to inspire the rest of us on what you like to do as a family, what you have done in the past that you have thought was fun or meaningful to celebrate baptism, saints' feast days, or name days, and also observing Fridays and Sundays outside of the liturgical season of Lent, or even during Lent, especially since we are about to enter into that season, to give some of us ideas on what we could do. So I am going to jump on and be able to see y'all's comments. So somebody mentioned Burger King. That's a great one. Yeah, like I said, we like to indulge in Chick-fil-A or Popeyes. So whatever fast food or restaurant carry out that you like to indulge in or to go to on a special day, that is a great idea. Burger King actually is a place of somebody that I know. She takes her family, her children to on the coronation of Mary on that feast day, because at Burger King you can get a crown. So that's just one fun, easy way that you can live life liturgically as a family without having to do anything overzealous, overcomplicated, but you're able to make slow steps towards living life liturgically, and I just love that idea. Someone also said that on their baptism anniversary they like to receive the Blessed Sacrament, which of course is such a great and special reason to go to Mass. Any day is a great day to go to Mass, but it's so much more special to be able to enter into the Mass prayerfully and to be able to give that great thanksgiving to the Lord. All glory be and praise to Him for bestowing that gift upon you of the Holy Spirit at your baptism, and to be able to reflect on what that means to you in receiving that sacrament. Someone else mentioned that a family activity for Lent could be going on a walk or outdoor way of the cross. Yes, I am not sure what that will look like in our diocese this Lent season, but I know in the past there are outdoor stations of the cross that you can go to, and you can pray with each station as you make your way around to the stations of the cross. And you can end with going into the chapel or going home and saying a prayer together, whatever it might be. But yes, that is a great family activity, something to do together to enter into the season of Lent. So yeah, thank y'all for your ideas, and I hope that you continue to take these things to prayer and to figure out what you would like to do, not just as an individual, but as a family as well. Like I talked about last week with the 3 pillars of Lent: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Is there something particular in one of those 3 pillars that your family would like to do together to observe Lent more? Or if you're feeling zealous, enter into all 3 and do something special together. So think about that, pray through it and discern it. I love continuing to see y'all's comments and engagement, and any inspiration that you have in your home. It gives me ideas as well. So thank y'all again. Next week we will have part 3 in this series. Like I said, if you're jumping on a little bit after we started, next week is our last Living Life Liturgically live stream. That's a mouthful. Until Easter. So like I said at the beginning, we are having some really great content provided by Father Alex during the season of Lent. So I would encourage y'all to tune into those during Lent, and then we will come back together on Living Life Liturgically once a month following Easter to just give y'all inspiration and ideas on how to live the liturgical calendar together for that month, depending on what feast days there are, what season we're in, all that jazz. So thank y'all again for tuning in. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Friday night, enjoy your meals together as a family, and my prayer is that this starts conversation together for you as a family to come together as not just a family, but see it as a church community, a church family, because we are many churches in our homes. We make up the Universal Catholic Church. So that is my prayer, that y'all are able to have conversations together, to dive deeper into your faith, and that desire of a spark turns into a flame as we go on through the liturgical seasons year after year. So happy Friday, have a great weekend, and thank y'all so much for tuning in. Bye.